Hello and welcome to Vegan Cafe 21. Today we are making vegan tomato basil bread without yeast. So let me walk you through the ingredients. We will use 4 cups of bread flour. Also, a part of our dry ingredients will be 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1.5 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Since this is tomato basil bread, we will use 1 cup of washed basil leaves and a cup of sun-dried tomatoes packed in olive oil. For wet ingredients, we will use 2 cups of warm water, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. We will also grind about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper and use olive oil to grease our bowl and our hands as we knead. So I'm going to measure 4 cups of bread flour into this bowl. Now we will chop our basil and sun-dried tomatoes in this food chopper. If you want to do them with a knife on a chopping board, you can do that as well. I just feel like this makes it a quick job and is easier to do. Okay, now we are ready to prepare our dough. So let's mix in all the dry ingredients into our flour first. Whisk them in to incorporate them nicely. Now we will add our tomato and basil mixture. Olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and now slowly we'll start adding water to this mix. Do add the water slowly and keep incorporating it into your flour and the other ingredients. The goal is to make a wet, sticky, shaggy dough, but we don't want to add all the water all at once. Now, out of the 2 cups that I started out with, I have about 1/4 cup of water remaining. And with my dough, I feel like I have reached where I needed to, so I'm going to stop here. A lot of times the quality of your flour determines how much water it's going to absorb, so be mindful of that as you're adding water slowly to prepare your dough. I'm only using about 1 3/4 cup of water. Now, while we were adding our dry ingredients, I should have ground some black pepper into this dough, but no harm done. We can do that now as well. Our dough is ready, so in this bowl here, I'm going to add some olive oil to grease this bowl nicely. And I'm going to lift this dough and place it in this greased bowl. Roll it in the oil a little bit to coat it on all sides. Now we will cover this bowl and place it in a draft-free environment for about 2 hours before we are ready to bake our bread. Our dough is ready for us, and I have also started preheating our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and here on the side I have a 9" by 5" loaf pan lined with parchment paper and ready for us. So now we will dust our surface with some flour and take the dough out on it. Now all we need to do is just give it few quick kneads. You don't have to really knead this dough. Just roll it over itself a few times. Just lay it flat, roll it over, tuck it under, roll it over. Just a few times, maybe 5 or 6 times should do us good. Let me move the bowl out of the way. Some more flour. We are also going to flour our rolling pin, and all we need to do is just roll it. I would say, just for reference, let's put our tin here. We want to roll this as wide as our loaf pan. You can turn it this way and see if we're there yet. Yes. So now we just give it a roll and tuck both sides in, drop it into a parchment lined tin. We will cover it again while our oven is preheating to 400 degrees and let it rest. Once the oven is ready, we'll walk it to the oven. All right, so our oven is ready for us. So let's transport our bread to the middle rack and set the timer for 40 minutes. All right, so our bread is out of the oven. It looks beautiful. It baked at 400 for 40 minutes, and once the oven turned off, we let it sit in there for another 10 minutes before pulling it out. So now we are going to place it on a wire rack and allow it to cool for about an hour before we slice it. Our bread is now cold and ready for us to slice. So let's begin slicing. Look at that. Do you see this? So you can slice it to your desired thickness. There you have it. Yeast-free, dairy-free, homemade tomato basil bread. Do give it a try and let me know how it turns out for you. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon with more vegan favorites.